look so tired. You know why I look tired? Because I was up until 1 AM reading this book last night. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm back to sit down and do a little book review for you all. You're gonna have to excuse my appearance, and I'm gonna probably do like a little disclaimer. Whenever I do like a book review video, I'm probably gonna look like this and have pretty much next to nothing makeup on, just because of the time of day or whatever when I finish my books. So I'm not the best at selling books to people. I don't mean it in that respect, but like describing books, I just get so invested in stories. I'm like, I just love it, you've just got to read it, which I know is not the best way to describe a book because there's no explanation at all. But today I just finished Page Toon's The Last Piece of My Heart, and I wanted to sit down and gush about it because last year I read so many amazing books and I didn't take the time to sit down and film them because I cared about my appearance or I didn't have time, whereas now I'm giving myself 20 minutes. I've put P on the iPad, call me a bad parent all you want, but I want to film this video for you, so, and mainly for myself. I haven't got a bloody clue what's going on. Where's this bit of hair? Is it my fringe? Yeah. I have had this book on my shelf for about 1.5 years. This came out in 2017, so it's quite a new one for her. And I kept putting off reading it. I don't know why. I don't think blurbs really do any books justice. I'll read you the blurb of the book. It says, when life feels like a puzzle, sometimes it's the smaller pieces that make up the bigger picture. A successful travel journalist, Bridgette, has ambitions to turn her quirky relationship blog into a book, but then a different proposition catches her eyes. Nicole Dupree died, leaving behind a best-selling novel and an incomplete sequel. Tasked with finishing the book, Bridgette is thankful to have the chance to show what she can do, even if it means relocating to Cornwall and answering to Nicole's grieving husband Charlie. But as she gets to know the family Nicole left behind, the woman behind the words, Bridgette's priorities begin to change. I didn't think the blurb sounded that good, which is why I've put off reading it for such a long time. But my god, it was a good book. I've given it 5 stars on Goodreads. I would say it's like, it's more than a 4.5, but it's not a 5, so I'm going to go like a 4.7 if we're going to be technical. I liked it. There were a few little cheesy bits, not too much, but I highly recommend it to you all. So I'm just going to do like a non-spoiler section. The main character in this book is called Bridgette, and she, like the blurb said, she's a journalist and she's working on a blog that she wants to turn into a book. And the blog / book style premise: go and see all of her ex-boyfriends or people that she's fallen in love with and ask for a piece of her heart back. So that's the part that I found cringy, but that, like I said, it was so minimal. The story evolves from there, and her manager pulls her into an office meeting style thing and says, look, this situation happened with this lady, she passed away and her book skyrocketed, and there's a sequel, and she was a quarter of the way through it and she died, and the family want the story to be finished and they need to employ like a ghostwriter to partake and overtake and finish the story, and they suggested Bridgette. And the story goes from there. We see obviously her go down to Cornwall where they lived. She meets Nicole, the woman that died, her family, so her husband, her daughter. She died when her daughter I think was 2 weeks old, and her little girl is called April. A part I really liked in the book is you see Bridgette write a book, and I think Paige did it so well because it's something that she does. She writes books for a living, so it was really nice to see Bridgette doing it, because I can imagine the way she did it in the book is how Paige does it for her books, if that makes sense. So I felt like it was really well written because I can see her doing it, and I found it really interesting reading about someone writing a book and visiting locations and doing things like that to get inspiration, because I've never read that before. There aren't too many characters to get confused with, which is one thing that I really liked about the book. And we just see her on her travels and what she gets up to and how she sets the scene and relationships that grow and the friendship she makes with Charlie and his daughter. And she has to be really careful and tread on eggshells around Charlie, the widow, but yet she's in her office and reading all of her diaries and her notebooks and all of her notes and stuff to write the second book. So it's really well done. I really liked it. I thought it was really tasteful, and sometimes books like this, when death's involved, it is a little bit romanticized and just a bit not right. I can't describe it, but I think Paige did an amazing job. So that is the end of my non-spoiler section for The Last Piece of My Heart. I am going to spoil it now and get into the nitty-gritty of things that I liked, things that I didn't like, and things like that. So I definitely recommend it. I don't know how much it is at the moment on Kindle, but I'm sure you'll be able to get this in the works in the summer for like £2. I got mine from a car boot for £1. I was very lucky to find it. Spoiler section. First of all, I don't really rate the cover. It's a bit, I don't know, I just don't like it. I don't like the green on the contrast with the lettering. I don't like how the text goes across. I know this stuff doesn't matter, but it's just an opinion I have. And I also don't really feel like the cover reflects the story at all. I know they go to Thailand, however, it's not, like the last 100 pages are in Thailand, not the whole groundwork. I would like to have seen rolling countryside in Cornwall, but we don't see that. Right, so let's discuss the book, shall we? I really liked Bridgette. Like I said, I thought it was really well done. I haven't even thought about points to talk about because I just loved the book so much. I literally finished it and I was like, I need to film a video. I liked going to visit the exes because obviously that is what she was going to do. That was her journey until obviously the book came up. But I didn't like when she genuinely stood in front of like 30-year-old men or however old and said, can I have a piece of my heart back? I just thought, really? You're 34. Grow up. But I did like the fact that she got closure. So it was a bit naff. It obviously ties in with the title and it made it all full circle. I liked that, but it was just a little bit cringy, like a woman going up to her ex in a nightclub asking for a piece of her heart back. I just thought you wouldn't do that. I think that's the only bit that I didn't actually like. I loved it all. Sometimes when I read books I get really frustrated by like main characters, normally like the women in chick lit, I get really annoyed at them at some point. But in this I didn't. I really liked Bridgette. I feel like she handled the whole situation of going into the widow's household, I just thought she handled it really well. Sometimes I find in books the beginning can be quite slow, whereas this, we were straight on the ball. She went down to Cornwall within the first couple of chapters and she was there and immersed in the story. There wasn't that much world building, but there was world building when she was there, so it wasn't dull at all, and I really liked it. The whole part when she felt really uncomfortable, sat in Nikki's office thinking, oh my god, this lady died. I've got her husband downstairs with their baby. She just felt really uncomfortable, like reading her notebooks and reading her journals, feeling like she shouldn't be doing it. I really liked that because I could relate and I could imagine myself being exactly the same, and like she didn't want to play her music and stuff. And I loved how the friendship grew between Charlie and Bridgette, and that was my main thing that I took away from the book, was how lovely it was and how easy, and it wasn't like, it wasn't sexualized at all. I don't know if that's the right word, but in a lot of chick lit it's like pushed down your throat, like this is the main guy and this is the main girl and they will have sex and they will get together, and it wasn't like that at all. I thought it was really tasteful and they built it all along and around friendship. At first he was really, I would say grumpy, but he's not. He's obviously just distraught the fact that his wife died a year ago, and now some stranger is rummaging through her things and reading things about her personal life and their personal life, and he obviously had the right to feel like that. And then eventually she made him open up to her, and she made him laugh. And then there were little things when he was like, use Nikki's bike, here's my tent. All meetings they had, so with Adam, the brother, he was sort of broke the ice a little bit, and they went for tea and cake together. And then they had pizza nights and takeaways, and they went on their night out. I loved, like I said, the friendship that brought them all together, and this awful loss that the family had suffered. Bridgette was that plaster, and I just loved it. I thought it was so well done. I loved the relationship that Bridgette had with, I don't like the name Bridgette. I don't like it. Why would you name your character Bridgette? Anyway, I liked the relationship that Bridgette had with April. I thought it was really sweet. Her saying obviously she's not maternal, she doesn't like children, she doesn't want them herself, when we later in fact find out that she can't because she had POF. Never heard of that before, so she went through the menopause early. That then scared me and thought, oh my god, am I going to go through the menopause early? Yeah, I really liked how she was just such a natural at being around children, and she didn't realise it. She just thought she was just being like a nice lady. And then eventually towards the end of the book, when she had to go back to London from Cornwall, she then realised, actually, I really like these guys. I think they're really sweet. Again, when Charlie would offer to take her to these special places that she wanted to see and set the book in, I really liked that. We saw a lot of Cornwall in there, and everyone knows how beautiful Cornwall is. If you've read it, let me know your thoughts on Elliot. He was obviously made out to be like not the best guy, and I didn't really rate him, but to be fair, I felt quite sorry for him. He was stuck in Australia. He didn't make the effort to go and see her, although he was going to go out to Thailand. Yeah, he didn't really make much of an effort, but I felt sorry for him. Nothing could have stopped what happened between Bridgette and Charlie at all. Like, that's just the position that they were in, and obviously everything grew from there. But I felt sorry for Elliot, and I did not see it coming when she dumped him on the phone. I thought that she would push him away, in the sense that she kept putting off doing like the FaceTime calls and things like that. I thought he'd be like, you know what, fuck it. And I thought he'd go and sleep with someone and then confess to her on the phone, and then she'd get brokenhearted. But that didn't happen. I was very shocked to read that she ended it with him first. I didn't think that was going to happen, but I'm happy she did it. She did it for herself, and she obviously did the right thing. The scene when Nicole's mum and sister Kate were there for April's first birthday, they were arseholes. I can only imagine how difficult it must have been to see a woman go into their daughter's home where she died and say, oh, we've run out of milk and things like that. I would pick up on that as a mother if my daughter had passed away. But they were just really nasty towards her, really blunt, and I didn't like the way that they were towards her, because like I said, I felt that Bridgette was the plaster, and she brought so much happiness into their lives, and then for them just to be really disrespectful of that. She's doing her job, finishing their daughter's book, and I didn't like those two. Kate and was it Vivian? Yeah, don't rate them, but I get it. I laughed quite a lot through this book. I don't think I've laughed as much as I did in this book with any other page toon books. There are some books that I read and I laugh out loud and I find them really funny, but page ones I don't. But this one I did find funny. I liked the comedic style with it and the banter between Charlie and Bridgette. Like I said, it's built on friendship, so it just flowed, and I really liked that. And then towards the end of the book, we go to Thailand. There's one problem that I find with page toon books. They end too quickly. So this whole section here was obviously the whole Cornwall book situ. This is not even all of this. Hang on. This little section here is Thailand, wrapping up the book and the epilogue. That's not a lot. I feel like I got everything that I needed to. Whenever I get excited or stressed, I get like a little red rash, so let's just ignore that. I don't have some sort of skin disorder, I'm fine. I got everything I wanted from the book, but it just went by so quick, because how can you world build all of this and then just cram it all in there? I wanted more, which I guess isn't a bad thing. So Charlie and April joined them on the trip to Thailand. They met Nicole's father that was out there. Really liked seeing him. I thought he seemed like a really nice guy. It was a shame that obviously they were distant in the years up to Nicole's death. I've now got an itchy patch on my neck. Ugh! This does not look great. I'm just gonna have to hold the book here. The whole reason to obviously go out there was to meet that guy. Was it Isaac? Who was Timo in the book. Which obviously led us to the travels. It went by quite fast, but I feel like you got everything you needed to. Obviously, since that point, she hadn't seen Charlie since she split up with Elliot, and she told him that, and she was completely overthrown by her feelings and how much they had amped up since she had been single and obviously seeing Charlie again. And I felt really sorry for Charlie, because in the acts that they did whilst they were away and the way they spoke showed that he was acting with his heart, but he was so afraid. Obviously, a year on from becoming a widow is quite soon, especially with the young child, but that obviously felt right for him. So I could see, whilst I was reading it, I could see and feel how conflicted he felt. And I also felt so sorry for Bridgette, because she emphasised as well, it's now getting really dark, she emphasised as well, empathised, not emphasised, she empathised with him as well, but at the same time she knew that it was right, and she was quite forceful, and I liked that. I liked how she was like, maybe this will make him realise and things like that. I was like, yes, you do you, like, don't pussyfoot around a man, like, grab it by the balls, not literally, but just go for it. And I really liked that. See, things went a little bit south. She got home to the UK, was heartbroken, and ended up calling his mum and said, what do I do? And she was like, go get him. So she drove down in the middle of the night, used her key, got in his bed, and that was that. And I really liked it. I liked the epilogue. I thought it was left in a really nice place where they got married, lived happily ever after. And I loved the last saying. As for my darling adopted daughter April, she still has the last piece of my heart, and I'll never ask for it back, ever. It was just full circle, and it was so lovely. I felt like this book was just a hug. That's the only way I can describe it. It was so lovely. I flew through it, but I didn't go too fast. My really random book review of Page 2 and Last Piece of My Heart. Leave me a comment below, let me know if you've read it. I still haven't read all of her books. I'm saving them and staggering them because I love her so much. I will say now that her new book is getting released in May, so that will be the book club pick for June. It comes out in the middle of May, so heads up now if you want to read the new one. It's called Anywhere You Go, If You Could See Me Now, something like that. That will be the book club pick for June, which I know is crazy, it's so long away, but if you get your hands on it and you want to read it, wait until June and we can all read it together and we can chat together and I can do a book review. I really hope you like this book review. It's my first one of the year, but I will definitely be doing more. I don't care about this or this. I want just to sit down and talk about books because it is one of the biggest passions I have in my life. Like I said before, I'm not very illiterate, but I just like talking about them because they make me feel comfy. I don't know if books should make you feel comfy, but they do. So I'm gonna go. I hope you all enjoyed it. Leave any book recommendations down below if you've got some. I have my own book club over on Instagram. It's called Book Clubs with Jess. And we pick a new book each month and we discuss it on Instagram and it's great. So I hope you all enjoyed and I'll see you all in my next video. Bye.